Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to go over my predictions for Newcastle's tie with Aston Villa and also touch on some transfer news. So let's get into it. So the Premier League is here again. Hallelujah. Praise whoever you want. But it's been a long summer, hasn't it? Just a couple of days now and we can bask in football glory. But our opener is not an easy one. Now, Aston Villa are a difficult side. We know this. I mean, for the last few seasons, they've been pushing for the same sort of positions. Obviously, Aston Villa were in the Champions League last season. They missed out. They were far off. But this season coming up, it's going to be pretty much the same sort of scenario, but in reverse. So we're in the Champions League. They're not. We do have some good games against Aston Villa. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up some past head-to-heads and see what we can make of how we've done previously and see how this ties in with what the result might be at the weekend. So, as you can see in front of you there, I've done an analysis of the head-to-head, or just bullet pointing some that stick out for this tie against Aston Villa. These stats, or some of these stats, obviously do include home and away fixtures. So, there we go. So, first one that sticks out, the third most goals scored in the Premier League era against Aston Villa with 83. As put there, we've only scored more goals against two other opposition in the Premier League era, which is West Ham with 92 and Tottenham with 98. I'm not surprised about the Tottenham one, to be honest. That says we do score a lot of goals, or we have scored a lot of goals. So that's just over the Premier League era, by the way. Looking back at the previous results, we have always had an entertaining game against them. There's been quite a lot of goals. Last season it was 4-1 to them. Disappointing result it was for us, but obviously in recent seasons we've beat them 5-1 at home. We've beaten them 3-0, I think, as well. So there's a lot of goals in this tie, and I'm pretty sure at the weekend we're going to have quite a few goals as well. Fingers crossed, because it's always entertaining when there's lots of goals, isn't there? So we've only lost 2 of the last 7 meetings in the Premiership, with no draw since 2021. I mean, what do you read into that? 5 out of 7 results we've won. That being said, most of those, 4 of those have been at home. So there we go. We do tend to have the fair share of the results against Aston Villa, and that's what's stated in the next stat, which is our overall record in the tie. So that is overall. So since we first met Villa in any competition, so we've won 76, drawn 39, and lost 60. Overall, we edge out Aston Villa in terms of the amount of wins. Obviously with 16 more wins there. You can't read much into that. Obviously it evens itself out over time anyway. But it's still a good stat to have, that we do tend to win, or we have won like 20% more games than Villa, roughly. So it's pretty nice to have that edge over them in that way. And the other thing of note is that we've only won 1 of the last 6 visits to Villa Park since the 2019-20 season, and we've only scored 4 goals in that time. So obviously 4 goals in 6 visits, that is not a good return. I mean, we don't really seem to draw many either. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a difficult game. The way that Villa set up, they're a little bit like us. Obviously they like to press high. They like to get at you, get down the flanks. Get some crosses in the middle. But equally, that is our game. That's always been our game plan. We press high. Hopefully we can catch the Villa napping. First game of the season is always difficult. You don't know what's gonna happen. And it's probably the hardest one to predict of the season, to be perfectly honest. Because you can't read much into what the pre-season's been like. Our pre-season's been shocking. I mean, I must admit I don't know what Aston Villa's has been like. But ours has been really bad. I mean, we've won 1 game in pre-season, but saying that everything could click into place on Saturday, I think the lads are going to have some level of steel to the game as well, because they'll be out to prove a point that they're good enough. But in terms of the head-to-head, I have a bit of an edge over them. overall. However, it's how you treat stats. Like I say, that we've only won one in the last 6 visits to Villa Park. So there we go. That says to me that we don't have a great chance of going there and getting a result. But after things have happened. So let's move over to the team news now, or what I think the team should be. Right. So this is the Eddie formation, isn't it? Really, let's face it. So he likes to go with sort of a pressing 4-3-3, starting with the goalkeeper. I've gone for Nick Pope. I mean, you could say that Aaron Ramsdale should start. I mean, it'd be nice to get him blooded early, but I think they're going to chop and change the goalkeeper quite a bit this season. I've gone with Nick because it might be just a loyalty thing. I don't know. He's still classed as our number one. He's got number one jersey, and maybe going to give him a chance and see how he gets on. I mean, it's very hard to pick between our goalkeepers. Very hard, because Ramsdale is just, in my eyes, just as good, if not better, because he's better with his feet. So there is that. Also, before we go any further, Malik Chow is not included. It's too early for him to start, I think. He's only had a couple of days to bed in, so I do believe he misses this game before anyone starts saying, "Where's Malik?" I think it's far too early. Although, after things have happened, it's not the finalised team, is it? It's just my lineup as it stands today. Obviously, with in the middle there, we've got Tonali, who does like to drop off and sit in the 6. He's the one he always or seems to be the one who mops up now. He's absolutely awesome in that position. It's by far his best position, and I think he's going to go from strength to strength this season. And he's the linchpin in our team. Him sat there, picking up the pieces is exactly where we want him. In terms of the back line, I personally think we're going to go for Hall at left back. He's back now, back from injury. He's had majority of the pre-season to get up to speed. It'll be nice to see him back in a black and white shirt. So that's brilliant. He's recovered well by lots of things. Arguably one of the best defenders in the league at left back. English defenders anyway. And he's got a really bright future ahead of him. Can't wait to see him in a black and white shirt again. And hopefully we can see him bombing down that wing, linking up with Barnes, who I've also picked, but I'll come to that in a minute. Then for the middle of middle centre defence, I've picked Botman and Shah. I mean, Botman is or should be relatively fit now. He has got a few more minutes, obviously, in pre-season. In essence, he has always been, or should always be, like one of the first on the team sheet in the back line. It's not been the case because of injury. But that being said, he's going to need game time, and you've got to throw him in the deep end as far as I'm concerned. Aston Villa, we need someone like him who's going to interrupt or use his anticipation. He's a good passer of the ball. He's cool under pressure. And we need someone like him to steady the line at the back. Equally the same with Shah. So him and Botman as a partnership, it worked really well in that first season that Botman was with us. And, that was testament to how many goals we did concede that season, which I think was the second lowest in the Premier League, wasn't it? Without checking, I'm pretty sure it was. And I think they need to renew their partnership. It's no slight on Dan Burn. No slight on Dan Burn whatsoever. If anything, as the game progresses, because Hall's not got many minutes and Botman's not got many minutes, I can see Burn coming in to replace one of them anyway. Obviously, for tied legs. Dan is an absolute warrior. Love him to bits. But at the same time, we've got to use him sparingly this season. We've got to be very careful about game time minutes with our players because we still don't have the biggest squad. And because we don't have the biggest squad, we're going into a Champions League season. We have to, and Eddie's not stupid. He's going to have to use his players wisely to keep those fresh legs as the season goes on, and you've got to start as you mean to go on as well. I've gone for Livramento at right back. Again, we've got Trippier as a great replacement. I did in the news recently that Trippier might be linked elsewhere. However, Livramento is a shoe-in. Is a shoe-in at left back, and he did awesome at left back. But obviously, that's Hall's preferred position, and Livramento's his right back. But he's equally good at right back. Again, I think he's one of the best. I think we've got pairing of left back and right back I don't think any other club has. I think we've got the best two in those positions and cover in the league without a shadow of a doubt. Call me biased. Both of them can bomb forward. They're creative as well, so they will be linking up. Respectively with Hall with Barnes, if Barnes is going to play, I think he is, and then obviously Livramento with Alanga, and covering each other, and obviously, doing the overlaps down the wing. Now, getting back to going on to the midfield, obviously I did touch on Tonali. Tonali, linchpin inside. He's going to be cleaning up everything. He's going to be supporting the defence and obviously supporting the attack. He's everywhere. He covers every blade of grass, and I expect nothing different in this game. He is our warrior, and him paired with Joelinton of putting this in the starting lineup. I think they should start together because they work as a good pairing. Joelinton obviously goes on the left hand side. He's more of a left central midfielder, but covering every blade of grass. He can also link up with Barnes. Have those bombing runs from Joelinton that through the middle, and any pass can pick him up, and on those runs, so he can be creative as well. So it's Joelinton. I said worry about Tonali. What words do we have for Joelinton these days? He's just a changed man. He's an absolute beast, and hopefully he carries as he means to go on. I'm not sure how old he is actually. I think he is. Not he's getting on, but he's in his late 20s now. So while he's this age is his prime, so we should start to see Joelinton come into his own. He does have the odd niggly injury, prevent him from being very consistent through the side. If you look at his injury stats, he has each season he seems to pick up the odd hamstring or leg injury that he will keep him out for a number of games. Hopefully, he can have a full season. I think we are a much better side with Joelinton in it. Right side, but more of an 8. Moving into sort of a 10 position, to and fro. Advanced midfield, attacking midfield, as you'd call it, is Bruno. Bruno, he has got that creative element, and he starts. He's our captain at the end of the day, so he starts, as far as I'm concerned. He's more or less the first name on the team sheet. Everybody loves Bruno at our club. I'm no different. Everything goes through him in terms of the way that we set up, our tenacious manner, our attitude toward the game, his work rate is phenomenal. Obviously, he still does have that, that odd bit of flair about him. Sometimes it doesn't pay off. Hopefully now he's getting older, a little bit wiser. You can start to see the complete midfielder that we know he is, but to the next level now. And that's what I hope to see from Bruno this season. More of a maturity to his game, and from that maturity, I want to see him get more goals as well. Someone like Bruno, really, we should be seeing about 10 goals a season. You would think in that position, and it would be nice for him to link up the play, being that classic midfielder that runs into the box. He's the one that will be picking up the pieces from loose balls from corners. And smash them into the top corner. That's what we hope anyway. But that's what Bruno needs to be doing more of. Then across the attack, elephant in the room, there's got to be no striker other than Osula. We can't really start Osula in this kind of game, although I'm not Eddie Howe. He might think that he needs a chance, and to blood him early in the season might be a good idea. But it has been suggested that Gordon will lead the attack, so he's going to be in essence our forward / striker. I mean, Gordon, obviously we've never really seen him in that role. We've seen him very sparingly in that role. I think he's one of those that again he's in the ilk of he's going to be picking up the pieces. Yes, he has got the pace to beat someone, and maybe we'll see him come into his own in a striker role. Filling in that position until obviously we're still in for Wissa if he comes along. And when he comes along, hopefully this week, it should be wrapped up, or early next week. If that's the case, then obviously Gordon will more or less go on to the same position where Barnes is, and out wide where he is the most dangerous. Coming on his right foot from the left, that's where Gordon likes to operate. But on Saturday, I do believe he'll be going through the middle, and he'll be, if you like, our leading man. He'll be the one who will lead the attacks in as the striker. And then I've gone for Alanga, right midfield. I feel in a way I do feel sorry for Jacob Murphy because I don't think he's going to give up. He's not that kind of character. He's going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and he's still going to get game time this year. But he's not going to get as much now that Alanga's here. Let's face it, we bought him for a good reason. Alanga's numbers were good, very good last season, and he, for me, starts because we need to get him into our modus of playing. In pre-season, you don't get to link up with who the finalised 11 are a lot, so that finalised 11 needs to be the core of our team that all need to play together and build those relationships. Sadly, we've obviously not got a certain striker who he should be linking up with, and again, hopefully he can get to the byline, get some crosses in. He's also not scared to take anyone. He's absolutely rapid. I won't be surprised if he actually does score this weekend. So I'm going to say here first, we'll go 1-0 up, and I'm pretty sure that if it's going to be us going 1-0 up, Alanga will get the first goal of our new season. That's what I'm going for. So prediction's not there yet, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Then on the left hand side, Barnes is obviously a shoe-in for Gordon's role on the left. Pretty much what Gordon does in that position. He runs the line, he links up nicely. I'm sure he'll link up nicely and make up a good relationship with Lewis Hall on that left-hand side with the overlapping runs. Not afraid to shoot. We know that. He is that Robin Hood. He is pinpoint accurate when he absolutely smashes it. You can just sense sometimes that that's going in. And no doubt he'll be looking to do the same this season. He did get a few goals. I think did he get 5 in the Premier League last season, or 6? So it would be nice to get better numbers from Barnes if he's going to be playing regular, especially early on in the season. It's good competition that Barnes and Gordon have together, but there is more games this season with Champions League, so hopefully we should see Barnes playing a little bit more. If you get that more game time, he should be getting more goals. And he actually kept Gordon out the side at the end of last season anyway. But going back to Gordon, obviously I think we should be expecting more from him this season, really. Last season, he didn't look the same. He just didn't look the same. One thing I noticed about Gordon, I hope I'm not the only one who's noticed this. When he's going to shoot, he leaves a little bit of a one-trick pony. So he likes to come on his right foot. He likes to sidestep on his right foot, drop the shoulder onto his right foot, and then he's always sort of like trying to bend it as such into the right-hand corner. And I think a lot of defenders are getting wise to that. So he's the one who claims he's always thinking with football and he's always trying to do something new and this, that, and the other. He needs to freshen it up a bit and be a bit more creative. And we know he's creative, and I wish him all the best in the black and white this season. And if Isaac wants to learn from anyone on how to handle, being linked to a club from the northwest, should speak to Gordon, because looking back on last year and the transfer market and what happened there, you got to hold your hands up to the way that Gordon had it was professional, and that's how Isaac should be. Anyway, that being said, that is my team for the weekend. I think that's the team that will start at the weekend. Tell me what you think. Do you agree? Should we be swapping the players around a bit more? Yeah, and that is pretty much where I think we're going to be at the weekend and what the starting level is going to be at the weekend. There might be a couple of changes in between now and then. I mean, I'm releasing this on the Friday. Obviously, the team news doesn't tend to come out until early in the morning, so it could easily change. But if they're all fit, I think that that's our starting lineup for Saturday in those positions. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up with just a few little bits on the transfer market. Today we have got news that Jacob Ramsey, we've agreed a deal in principle, so he's on his way to have a medical today. I'm recording this on the Thursday, so by tomorrow we should know more. By the time I release this video, we should know more. I'm pretty sure that should be getting wrapped up, or what I've read from the weekend, or up to including the weekend. It's not going to be in time for against Aston Villa. Good thing is he won't get selected against Aston Villa. Selected for Aston Villa against Newcastle. So there's that. And by Saturday or even Sunday, might be even running to Monday. You never know. We tend to take our time with these things. We should have another addition to the squad. That's potentially 2 in a week. I mean, I wish they'd done this earlier on in the transfer window. For me, when that transfer window opened at the end of June, That first 2 weeks should have been a flurry of activity from Aston Villa. Why am I saying Aston? I'm saying Aston Villa because we're playing them. From Newcastle, there should have been a flurry of activity from Newcastle. We should have hit the ground running and got these guys in early. It is what it is. Obviously, we've got a few more people that we're linked with still. We're still linked with Wissa. Do believe that the final pieces in the domino chain, whatever you want to call it, are wrapping up now. So, in essence, he still wants us. We still want him, according to reports. So, we should be looking to sign Wissa by the end of this window. I mean, I say end of this window. We've obviously got 2 weeks left of that. Hopefully in place before the Liverpool game, because that is going to be, depending on how the result goes at the weekend, I think we do need that striker in, or need him in, for the Liverpool game, definitely. And that goes back to my prediction for the weekend. All in all, I do think we'll slightly edge it. I do think it's going to be a close game. Probably a lot closer than recent seasons have been. I'm going for a 2-1 win to Newcastle. Although, I'll say a caveat, I won't be surprised if we draw. But I do believe we'll win 2-1. And that is my prediction for the weekend. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you like what you see, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts on the coming season. Where do you think we'll finish? Where do you think what's going to happen this season with Newcastle? Are we going to progress? Are we going to keep pushing? I hope so. But at the same time, I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts on the matter and put it out there for discussion. I am on Twitter now. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's the handle at AshToonTalk. So follow me there as well. And I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now.